This is how it is done. So earlier this week, I did a video on the wrong way to approach ludicrous ideas using Mehdi Hasan's debate with Jubilee as the example, where Jubilee is uplifting these absolute insane perspectives, open fascists debating with Mehdi Hasan. Mehdi Hasan didn't know that he'd be debating them this is not, again, you watch the video. I'm not criticizing him. It's the deception that they use to bring him on, and also what that platform does generally to essentially normalize insanity, as if a fascist is worth debating with at all when you cannot simply debate basic human rights. But that is the wrong way to approach that insane perspective. The right way to approach insane perspectives are two examples I have this week. One of South Park and the other with Ana Kasparian on the Piers Morgan show debating genocide, as if that's something that you can debate. But if you're put in that position to debate that issue, this was shared here by the Vanguard, but captured by somebody else. I'm going to play this. This is how you approach a debate like this if you find yourself in a debate about genocide. It's with the proper emotion and anger necessary for the situation.
The fact that they shoot at people as they're waiting in line for humanitarian aid. Dozens of people get shot and killed literally every single day. Every single day as they're waiting for food. No, I'm not going to let you filibuster, bitch. I'm not going to let you filibuster. I'm not going to let you filibuster. You guys are totally okay with IDF soldiers shooting and killing desperate people waiting for humanitarian aid. You're okay with that. I find it so unbelievably evil. Unbelievably evil. It shocks my conscience and my soul that people as evil as this exist in this world. Okay? Watching these images, looking at these videos, seeing all these kids desperate, hungry, parentless, trapped in Gaza. And you're sitting here and you're defending it. I can't stand it. I can't listen to it. The filibustering is unbearable. It's unbearable.
Now, I think there's a fair criticism here of the Piers Morgan show generally, and much like Jubilee, the need to debate issues that do not need debating. You don't need to debate genocide, whether it's right or wrong. I think it's pretty clear what the answer there is. But if you're going to be in a debate like that, if these debates are going to be had on the network, and you're going to be a part of that, approaching it with empathy and emotion, I think, is the right way to go about it, because there is just to showcase how insane it is that there is anybody still defending what Israel is doing. So that's a good way to go about it. Another good way to approach these absolute lunatics is by making fun of them. And that's what South Park did this week. And it's got to the point where the White House actually released a statement, which I will get to later, showing you just how bothered they were by this. So let me just first, lay some groundwork for what went on here with South Park. There is right now a merger attempting to go through between Paramount and Skydance, which needs the approval of Donald Trump to get through. So part of that process so far has been the cancellation of Stephen Colbert, which they claim is a business issue. I do think there's a discussion there about how popular TV is generally, let alone, late night shows. So, you could make the argument there that at some point these shows aren't really going to exist anyways. That said, this cancellation is happening at a very interesting time. Quote unquote, big fat bribe. Stephen Colbert's show canceled after he slams Trump and Paramount Skydance merger. This gets to the South Park creators reaching a $1.5 billion streaming deal with Paramount. This was just a few days ago. To their credit, they immediately went after Trump. So Trump, in the midst of all this, has made an unconfirmed claim that Skydance will give him $20 million in advertising, PSAs, or similar programming after the merger goes through. It's bizarre that this is being reported as unconfirmed when he is the one making. It's not as if this is like some insider reporting this, some unnamed source. This is Donald Trump, the president, saying this is happening. And he said earlier in July, the New York Post reported earlier in July that Skydance CEO David Ellison had agreed to a secret side deal with Trump, agreeing to provide an additional 15 million to 20 million worth of ads that support conservative causes supported by President Trump. So that's apparently happening. Now, this gets to how South Park reacted to this. Part of their deal was agreeing to produce 50 new episodes over the next 5 years. Well, the first episode to come out after this deal was struck involved this: Donald Trump sleeping with Satan, taking the place of Saddam Hussein in the old gag they had going on here. Now, for obvious reasons, I can't play South Park episodes on this channel with copyright issues, but I will link to the clips that are available online, including this whole sequence here, where he essentially he's he's throwing out these lawsuit threats at everyone he comes across who disagrees with him, and then he gets in bed with Satan. And as Variety writes here, in one scene, Trump undresses in his White House bedroom and gets into bed with Satan, insinuating that he wants to have sex. Satan turns him down, but Trump persists. Quote, "Come on, Satan, I've been working hard all day." When Trump pulls down his blanket, a comically small penis is revealed as Satan replies, "I can't even see anything. It's so small." Now, this continued where South Park had to, they were being sued by Trump, but as part of the deal, they had to put out a pro-Trump commercial. So this is what they produced. The show producers produced using, obviously, AI here. But it's Donald Trump slowly having to undress throughout the desert as he ends up getting naked at one point. I can't show you the end of it, but it involves a comically small penis. And it's just, the whole episode was tearing Trump apart, just roasting him, making complete fun of him, showing him as the absolute clown that he is. This is a fantastic way to address these idiots. It helps to turn them into the cultural pariahs that they should be. So the White House was not happy about this. Rolling Stone reporting here, Trump White House rages over South Park episode, calls show fourth rate. The president cowed Paramount execs, but the company's talent is rebelling. Now the administration is melting down. So they got a direct statement from the White House that says, quote, "The left's hypocrisy truly has no end. For years they have come after South Park for what they labeled as offense content, but suddenly they are praising the show." Trump White House spokesperson Taylor Rogers tells Rolling Stone in a statement Thursday morning, quote, "Just like the creator of South Park, the left has no authentic or original content, which is why their popularity continues to hit record lows." This stuff is so ridiculous, the way that they write these statements. "This show hasn't been relevant for over 20 years and is hanging on by a thread with uninspired ideas." So it's so irrelevant that they struck a massive deal that is netting them $1.5 billion. But okay, go on. Desperate attempt for attention. President Trump, oh my God, speaking of desperate attempts for attention, President Trump has delivered on more promises in just 6 months than any other president in our country's history. And no fourth-rate show can derail President Trump's hot streak. Yet, you sure seem angry about it. They understand. If they lose the culture battle, they have nothing left. That's all they're trying to fight on at this point, because Trump's approval rating is at an all-time low, 37%, second-term low. You match that against other second quarter average approval ratings of elected presidents, by far the lowest. And if you go issue by issue, he's losing on every single issue. CNN had a recent report on a poll covering various issues. Of course, he's underwater the most when it comes to Epstein, because even the right is getting him on that. But across the board, down. Why treat these ideas with any sort of serious approach when these are not debate? These are not intellectual debates that are worth having. There is no debating these sorts of perspectives. Yes, it is important to take the president seriously, of course. It is important to take people in power seriously, and that's when Congress should be coming in and doing that. But in terms of the culture around it, in terms of the media around it, we do not need to be addressing these ideas as if they have a serious perspective worth engaging. We need to be showing the lack of humanity in it, which Anna did in her clip, as well as just clowning on how ludicrous these people are. And I think South Park clearly showed that as well.